Hello and welcome to the Sewing Whisperer. In this short playlist, we're covering everything you need to know about an industrial straight stitch machine, from why you would want one, how to thread and use the machine, and how to troubleshoot any problems you may be having with the machine. Industrial straight sew machines are sturdy, reliable and built for continuous sewing. They handle everything from lightweight silks to heavy denim, and they fly through thick seams without strain. The large flatbed surface is perfect for bigger projects, and features like back tacking and automatic thread trimming save time. The drawbacks? They're heavy, not portable, and only sew a straight stitch. You'll still need a domestic machine for buttonhole, zigzag or blind hems. Personally, I use my industrial straight sew for about 80% of my sewing. It's a true workhorse and I absolutely love it. The good news, most industrial brands are very similar. Once you've mastered one, you can sew on nearly any of them. Let's start with needles. Industrial straight sew needles have a different needle to a domestic machine. The needles for an industrial have a round shank. Check with your handbook to ensure you purchase the correct needle. My machine takes a DB×1. There are different sizes and point types of needles, and it's important to choose the correct size and point for the fabric you're using. Always sew a test on a scrap of fabric before starting a new project. A small needle for fine and lightweight fabrics is size 70 or 10. A standard needle size for most medium weight fabrics is 80 or 12. Heavier needles for denim or canvas would be sizes 90 or 14 or 100 or 16. Leather needles have a different point again and actually cut the leather to pierce it. Needle points differ for woven and knit fabrics. Woven fabrics take a standard or universal point. A very sharp SPI point is used for microfiber or fine silk fabrics. Knit fabrics are sewn using a ballpoint needle that have a rounded point which separates the stitches instead of piercing them, so the knit won't unravel. How to change the needle? First of all, it has a round shank, unlike a domestic sewing machine needle that has a flat shank, so you can't rely on the flat shank to show you how to place it into the machine. You need to work out from the shape of the needle how it goes into the machine. The back of the needle has what's known as a scarf or a little dip above the eye, and the front of the needle has a long groove going all the way down that you can run your fingernail down. The long groove has to face the left and the little scarf faces the right. If you put the needle in the wrong way, the machine will skip stitches. To take the needle out, use a small screwdriver. Undo the screw on the needle bar and pull the needle down to remove it. To put it back in, locate the scarf and ensure it's facing the right way. Place the needle back into the needle bar, pushing it up as high as it will go. Double check the scarf position is correct, then tighten up the screw. Thread the needle from left to right and place the thread under the foot and to the back. Let's look at presser feet and how to attach the presser feet. Industrial machines will have a standard presser foot supplied with the machine. To remove the presser foot, lift the presser foot up. Note that I have an easy change screw clamp. Push the clamp to the left and remove the presser foot. To reattach the presser foot, once again press the clamp to the left, position the presser foot in place and release the clamp. If you don't have an easy change screw clamp, use a screwdriver to loosen and tighten the presser foot screw for this purpose. Different presser feet. The presser feet that are usually supplied when purchasing a machine are the standard presser foot and the left and right hand zipper feet. One has the hole on the left and one has the hole on the right. You may need to purchase some extra presser feet. The presser feet that I would recommend are the invisible zipper presser foot for inserting invisible zips, the gathering presser foot for gathering fabrics, the Teflon presser foot for sewing leather, PVC, rubber-backed curtain fabric, rubbery grippy types of fabrics, binder presser foot and attachment for attaching binding. Now let's look at the bobbins. The bobbins are specific to the industrial machine. Generic domestic bobbins won't fit in the industrial machine. To wind the bobbin, it could be on the right side of the machine, or in my case, at the top of the machine. When possible, I prefer to have a bobbin set up and winding as I'm sewing, so I don't have to stop what I'm doing to wind a bobbin. To wind a bobbin from scratch, ensure the following. The presser foot is lifted. It's best to use the lever at the back to keep the presser foot lifted during the bobbin winding. This stops the teeth becoming blunt because there won't be any fabric under the machine. Remove the bobbin and bobbin case. Ensure the needle has been unthreaded. If you leave it threaded, you'll end up with thread knotted around the teeth or feed dogs, and you'll need to remove the throat plate and teeth to cut away the thread. When winding the bobbin, hold the thread out to stop it becoming tangled. To wind the bobbin, place the thread on the thread stand. Double the thread over and twist it together to make it stronger to pass through the thread guides. Pass the thread from back to front through the thread stand at the top. Place the bobbin on the bobbin spool holder. Next, thread the thread through the back thread guide of the tension assembly from back to front. Place the thread between the two discs of the tension, pulling it back and forwards to ensure it's slotted right in between the discs. Thread the thread guide to the front of the tension assembly from right to left. Wind the thread around the bobbin from the front to the back in a clockwise direction a few times so the thread's tight around the bobbin. Then push the bobbin lever into place. You can now push the foot treadle to wind the bobbin. It's preferable to sew at a medium pace when winding a bobbin. If you sew flat out, it can wind the bobbin too tightly. The bobbin lever will automatically click off when the bobbin's full. If the thread isn't in the tension properly, the bobbin will be wound very loosely and it'll need to be wound again. You don't need to completely thread the bobbin for winding every time. Simply cut the thread at the thread reel, change the reel of thread to the new colour, tie a knot and check that it's secure and pull the knot through. Place the bobbin in the bobbin case. Hold the bobbin so the thread's coming over the top and out to the right. Click it into the bobbin case and ensure it's turning clockwise. Thread the thread through the groove and around the hook. The thread should support the bobbin, and if you give it a jiggle, it should drop and stop. If it doesn't, you need to adjust the tension. To adjust the tension, there are two screws. The larger screw adjusts the tension. Tighten it to the right if the bobbin doesn't stop, and loosen it to the left if it doesn't drop at all. This is called the drop and stop test. To insert the bobbin, open the latch. The bobbin won't fall out when the latch is open. Place the thread over your hand at the top to ensure the thread doesn't catch in the latch. Note the thread only needs to be about 5 centimeters or 2 inches in length if you have an automatic cut-off machine. If not, leave the thread at about 10 centimeters or 4 inches. Open the slide plate. Place your hand under the machine, feeling for the silver bar that the bobbin case is to be inserted into. Push the case onto the silver bar and let go of the latch. Push the case until it clicks into place. There's no need to bring the bobbin thread to the top with the automatic cut-off machines. If you don't have an automatic cut-off, you'll need to leave a longer length of thread on the bobbin and the top thread. Hold the top thread firmly towards you and wind the hand wheel towards you until the needle goes down and up and the bobbin thread pops up. Place the threads under the presser foot and to the back. I recommend buying lots of bobbins so you have plenty of spare bobbins. They can be stored in a bobbin container. If you do need to remove thread from a bobbin, place the bobbin in the sewing machine drawer and pull until the thread's removed. Top threading. Place the thread on the thread stand. Double the thread over and twist it together to make it stronger to pass through the thread guides. Pass the thread from back to front through the thread stand at the top. On the top pin thread guide, pass the thread from back to front through the top hole. Then back to the front through the bottom hole, which creates a twist. Next is the pre-tension assembly. This only exists on machines with automatic cut-off, meaning when you finish sewing, you hit the back of the treadle and the machine will automatically cut the thread and lift the needle up. If your machine doesn't have automatic cut-off, you'll probably have a 3-thread or 2-thread thread guide here instead. This section controls how long that thread is when it cuts off. If it keeps coming unthreaded, you need to loosen this, or if the thread is too long, you need to tighten this. Pass the thread from back to front through the top thread guide, then place the thread over the top and into the discs. Hold the thread firmly to ensure it sits right in between the discs, then thread from front to back through the bottom hole. Next is the main top thread tension. Once again, hold the thread firmly and place it between the two discs. If you lift up the presser foot, it's easier to get the thread in between the two discs. Move the thread back and forwards to ensure it's sitting right in between the discs. Then pass the thread over the check spring hook and under the silver thread guide. Then pull the thread. When you pull the thread, you can see the check spring on the tension moves. Click into the thread guide to the right of the take-up lever guard and continue up to the take-up lever, which should be at the top. If not, wind the hand wheel towards you until the take-up lever is at the top. Pass the thread from right to left through the top of the take-up lever. Next, click into the thread guide on the left side of the take-up lever guard, which is the same as the previous guide, but you can't see it on this camera angle. There's a hook on the top of the needle bar. Place the thread around the hook. Next, there is a little hole in the needle bar and the thread goes from front to back through the hole. Finally, the needle threads from left to right and place the thread under the presser foot to the back. This is the foundation threading for most industrial straight stitch machines. Change the thread by tying off. You don't need to completely rethread the machine every time you change colours. Simply cut the thread at the reel, replace with a new reel, tie a knot and check that it's secure, unthread the needle and lift the presser foot up with your knee press or lift the presser foot lever to release the tension discs, which makes it easier to pull the knot through and then just pull the knot right through and rethread the needle. How to actually operate the machine. To operate the sewing machine, if you don't have a knee press, the treadle will do all the work of lifting the presser foot and operating the machine. The first thing to do is place your feet with your dominant foot, the foot you would put forward to save yourself if someone pushed you, at the top of the treadle and your non-dominant foot at the back. Hit back on the treadle with your feet to lift the presser foot. Note, I've lifted my foot to emphasize this process of hitting back on the treadle, but both feet would normally stay on the treadle for this process. Place the fabric underneath and return the treadle to what I call the neutral position by simply leveling the weight of your feet out. To operate the machine, press both tops of your feet down evenly and the machine will sew. To stop, but not cut off, return the treadle to the neutral position. The machine will stop with the presser foot and needle down. Once it's in neutral, you can hit back just slightly on the treadle and it will lift the presser foot only but not cut off. That gives you the opportunity to turn your work. You can try tapping the treadle and the machine will do 1 or 2 stitches at a time. Then stop with the treadle in neutral. Lift the presser foot by pushing back slightly on the treadle and turn the work again. When you're finished, generally you would back tack, then hit right back on the treadle and the machine will cut the thread. Raise the needle and lift the foot. Now to repeat this process using the knee press. Raise the presser foot using the knee press and place the fabric underneath. To operate the machine, press both tops of your feet down evenly and the machine will sew. To stop but not cut off, you simply level the weight of your feet out, returning the treadle to the neutral position. The machine will stop with the presser foot and needle down. Once in neutral, lift the presser foot using the knee press. Turn your work. You can try tapping the treadle and the machine will do 1 or 2 stitches at a time. Then stop with the treadle in neutral. Lift the presser foot using the knee press and turn your work again. When you're finished, generally you would back tack, then hit right back on the treadle and the machine will cut the thread, raise the needle and lift the presser foot. In summary, that's how the automatic cut-off works and how the treadle works if you do or don't have a knee press. The reason I prefer a knee press is because the treadle control of the presser foot is quite sharp. It's okay lifting the presser foot, but putting the presser foot down is one sharp, heavy movement with a clunk. I prefer having the gentle control of the knee press. And that's a wrap on threading and operating an industrial straight sew machine. Next up in the playlist, we'll be covering tension and unthreading problems, as well as oiling and maintenance of the machine. Be sure to give this a like and subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you there.